my journey. Today is 1/1/2006, which breaks down to a 1. So it's like 111, right? And, I was doing chores at the house today. And I kind of just had to get out. It's just like, I haven't been out for my hour. I got to get outside for an hour every day. That's my therapy. Okay? So, even though it's nighttime, what time is it? Yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock. I just want to get out for a few minutes. Okay? I just want to get out for a few minutes. I don't even know how, some people even manage that long ass hair. I promise you. I have to curl one of my long ass haired wigs. And yeah, I dread it. But I see there wasn't very much open today. No, wasn't very much open today. Because it's a holiday. But like myself, there are people out here riding around. There are people out here riding around like me. They're like, Just because things ain't open don't mean that they can't ride around. So yeah, whew. Somebody done put a bunch of flyers up around this intersection talking about land for sale, $5,000 down, 10 acres. Sounds like a scam to me. Because I don't know who would in their right mind sit up here and advertise at an intersection. Now, there was a time that this intersection was like an intersection for truckers, but there's only a little bit of trucking systems going on here now. Just a little bit. Right? As a matter of fact, that might be one of those cold warehouses that they got. Bigcom, how they had those cold warehouses so they can, control the pricing and keep, keep everything, appearing as if it's growing, but they're just storing it in warehouses. Now, one of the things that I tried to do last night, right, is in one of my food halls, I got a whole bunch of grapes, right? I guess they must have frozen the grapes or something or whatever, because the next day after I got the grapes, they started spoiling, and I was like, oh. let me see if I could, do something with these grapes. So what I tried to do with some of these, videos where they were showing how, all you need is just grapes and sugar, and you can make your own, grape, grape jelly or jam or preserved, right? So I did what they said, right? I blended it up and I put it on the stove. I cooked it for 45 minutes, and I even used real sugar, right? Because I was thinking, I don't be eating that kind of sugar like that. I shouldn't be eating no kind of sugar like that, right? But I use regular sugar, right? And it looked really good. When I first put it in there, it looked creamy, right? It didn't look runny or anything. And I was like, well, maybe it will set, But, it didn't set, right? So now I have grape syrup. I don't know what I did wrong. It could be that I added too much lemon juice, because it didn't specify how much lemon. It just said lemon, some lemon juice, half of a lemon juice. Anyway, I'll figure out something to do with it, I think. But it was a nice experiment to do. And it doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste bad. Maybe that'll be a reason for me to make some protein pancakes in the morning, because I got some protein pancake mix that I haven't used. I've been eating the beans that I made yesterday, and like I said, I don't mind eating beans. I don't, especially because they're filling, and they make it really nice to go to the restroom, lots of fiber. So that's what I had today for my afternoon meal. And then for dinner, I had the steak cutlets in a pita. It was good. It was good, no doubt. It was good. I had the guava cheesecake for dessert, and we're still feeling like antsy. And see, when I feel antsy like this, I will eat until I sedate my urge, to move around. Yeah, I will. I shouldn't. And that's why I went ahead and said, well, maybe I can cure it. Maybe I can cure this desire to eat so much with a ride. Just go for a ride. And see if that helps the situation. So what if it's nighttime? that doesn't matter, right? Especially when, I'm eating all hours of the day and night, sleeping all hours of the day and night. That's another thing is, I woke up early. And because I woke up early, I raked up the leaves, I mowed the lawn, right? And I felt really good about myself. And did my exercises. And I fell asleep. I did. I fell asleep. I was like, wow, that's kind of nice. Unexpected. But it was kind of nice to fall asleep. So yeah. I'm not sure how long I was asleep. But when I woke up, it went from blue skies and warm to gray skies and cooler. I'm like, yeah, even when I was out doing the lawn, I was watching the chemtrails, being manufactured with all the crosses in the sky, So then the rest of the day, was just basically gray. It's 62 degrees, so it's still pretty warm, even though we had the clouds. Still pretty warm. Thank God. Thank God. Because from what I understand, in some other places, they're having a really hard time with cold weather. So I was watching some videos about Russia and how Russians are deciding to do the only thing that they can do, and that's just concentrate on the short term. Today, 10 days, a month, 2 months. That's it. Don't try to go long term, because they don't know what the future's going to bring, since they've been at war for the last 4 years. And I can't figure out why the people of a country would allow a war to go on so long, right? It just seems to me that after year one, if there was no truce, right? Then, a leader was gonna have to die. That's where the sacrifice would have happened in my world. In my world, right? You're gonna make us suffer for a whole year on a war that we couldn't even win. Yeah. The leader is gonna die. Because there was way too many people dying behind some bullshit in fighting a war that we're not winning. And no way will it go 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and got the whole everybody in the country suffering post-traumatic stress. You have to be. Something like that going on for 4 years. I guess it's now going on 5 years. where people are like, they don't plan for the future. They just live today. And we're getting like that over here too in our country because of the job situation. Everybody's sitting up here trying to figure out, if they don't have a job or if they're underemployed, right? Meaning that they have jobs, but they're not paying them enough, to keep paying their bills. What the hell is going to happen tomorrow? And they can't even think on those terms. They can't because there's no options. There's no options. Right? We went through all of that bullshit that we went through in 2020, and the only thing that changed in 2021 was they dropped the social distancing, and they said, fuck it, y'all don't have to, make sure that the work environment and the businesses are sanitized. That was it. The prices didn't go down. The jobs didn't increase. Right? You got so many people doing gig work now that they have to schedule them. They're like, oh, no. We got way too many people out there doing, gig work. You're going to have to schedule your time to do gig work now. You can't just gig work because you got a few minutes to do some gig work. You got to schedule it like it's a job. Right? And another thing that kind of tripped me out was when I was watching Meanie Mama, right? She been doing Uber and DoorDash. And she did a couple of shopping, but she prefers to just do food delivery. She was stating that sometimes the customer or the platform will remove the tip, some of the tip. And I know that had happened to me, right? And they still haven't corrected the fact that I had to pay out of my pocket because, they didn't reimburse me for a shopping trip that I did. They were supposed to give me back $9.24 because I had to use my my personal funds and my my Pro card. And I'm like, damn, it's been a month, right? Because that happened on December 3rd. I don't know how long it takes for them to investigate, because they reimbursed only partially. They only reimbursed what was on my my Uber card, my payment card, not the Uber Pro card, because I didn't have access to my Uber Pro card. I didn't know I can just get another Uber Pro card. I thought I had to have the old Uber Pro card, which I had downloaded because it's a virtual card. I had downloaded onto my old phone, and I had to, get a new phone because my old phone, the charger port was damaged, and I had to go and put in a claim and all of that shit and send them back the phone, and the phone wouldn't charge, and it was just a mess. Couldn't access anything on my phone. And that was stress. That was a lot of stress. Like I don't even know what I lost on that phone until I know, right? And one of the things was the Uber virtual card, Pro card. I sent them the receipt, sent it to customer service. I haven't heard anything back yet, nor have I gotten my $9.24. I don't know how long, they give themselves, to correct these type of situations. Especially when they feel like they already refunded me, but they only refunded me on one credit card. They didn't refund the other credit card. And that pissed me off. So now I'm scared. I'm scared that I'm paying Uber to work. Right? It's already been a month. The refund took like 5 days, 5 business days to get a refund. Did it? Anyway, and that's disgusting. It's disgusting when you have to sit up here and correct your employer that don't want to be corrected. And it's costing you money. So on that day, I was supposed to have made, according to them, I made $33 something, right? But they never reimbursed me on the $9 that I spent shopping on my credit card, my personal credit card. It's just crazy. I lost $10 that day. So I was out there way over there in Richardson. And it still irks me just to think about it. Like, why in the hell would I sit up here and even think about trying to do a few deliveries? And this one customer, I don't know, he had taken off the tip and put it back on, I guess, because for whatever reason, and I tried to tell him when I got there, I said, look, the flavor that you wanted, they didn't have. They had these other 2 flavors and diet of Gatorade. And I guess he decided, let me go ahead and put it back on. So he put back on the tip. And I was like, whoa, that's diabolical to sit up there and remove a tip. But he had only taken off $2 of the tip. But he put it back on. And that came on later. But I was surprised. I was like, what the hell? I thought an agreement was an agreement. But I guess a tip is to ensure accurate and prompt service, and if they take away the tip, that makes it seem like either you wasn't prompt or your service wasn't accurate. Something like that. I'm only guessing. I did have a petition that I sent it to spiritual court, and that is for the second trine in Chinese astrology, right? Which is the rooster and the snake and the ox. They're supposed to be the second trine, and they're supposed to be the trine of intellectuals, right? However, people that I know are roosters and snakes have horribly backstabbed me. And I'm like, how is it that you backstab me? You know? And obviously they were not acting out of their intellect. And of course, you know, I felt like, well, since they don't want to act out of their intellect, that they need to, you know, be judged for that. You know, you're not given these gifts so you could abuse them. You're not. And that's how come I felt like, well, you know, I think it's my duty to report that the rooster and the snake decided not to use their intellect for good, if they're using it at all, and therefore, you know, should stand judgment. We just went through the year of the snake, right? And the year of the snake should have been a year of prosperity for me. Okay, it should have been. Why it wasn't, don't know. But yeah. Not even gonna repair their glass door. I'm like, no, we don't have to repair our glass door. It's broke. We're just gonna keep it a wood entry. So yeah, I had to get that going on. You know, and it's like, you know, no stone will be left unturned. We're gonna turn over all of these stones and see what snakes and worms and pests and stuff, you know, we got to get rid of, because it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Why not? Beside the railroad track. I don't know if they're together or they just together because that's the way it is. It's horrible. Living off of carts. driving every day helps keep my battery charged, helps keep my tires stay inflated, And it's not that cold. It's still 62 degrees out here. I would. Oh, Walmart is open. I think that 62 degrees for the winter is mild. I think that's nice. It's nice. Looks like Burger King is open. Pizza Hut looks open. CVS is open. Looks like somebody put a lot of stuff curbside. That's what it looks like. Somebody put a lot of stuff curbside. I guess it is the first. There would be a lot of people vacating on the first. Somebody was going through what was put to the curb. I don't know if it was her stuff or if it was she was looking for something that she could claim as hers. Looking for something she might need. So, yeah. Gas stations are open. So I guess we're all just sitting back waiting to see if some of that $33 billion in tariff is gonna trickle down. I got my little, $30, $40 cost of living increase, like $30 or $40. Wow. Wow. Well, that will buy some dog food. Then their fear mongering continues. They're like, oh, you think that's bad? Social Security ain't gonna be around when you retire. And it's like, well, You know, if you give up on it, it definitely ain't going to be around. You know, and if you spend all of this time trying to dodge and not pay any taxes, I don't know. I don't know what to say. You know, except to say, you know, I just don't think people are going to want to keep living here. Right? Because all it seems like America cares about is cars and streets and roads. Cars and roads. That's all they care about. They care more about their vehicles than they do their pets or even their relationship. Right? I would not even be surprised if somebody was told, you know, you got to get rid of that vehicle. And you're like, I ain't getting rid of my vehicle. I'm getting rid of you instead. That's a person that loves their vehicle more than their partner. But the police are out, too. The police are out. I did not see that many homeless. I only seen 2 homeless people out.